Hi, I'm Jason Horsch, owner of Xanadu Gallery in Scottsdale and Pine Top, Arizona, and this is Ask a Gallery Owner. Today's question comes from Nina in New Mexico, and Nina says, I was once told that in order for a painting to be successful, it needed to have a surprise, something different to get a viewer's attention to make that sale. Is this true? Nina, I, like you, have long heard various pieces of advice about what will help a piece of artwork sell or even what will guarantee a sale. And I always am a little bit skeptical about this kind of advice. There's a lot of it going around, and certainly some of it comes from experience, but most of it's going to be anecdotal and I suspect would change pretty dramatically from artist to artist, region to region. There are just so many variables involved in generating art sales that it would be very difficult, I think, to come up with these hard and fast rules. Now, having said that, this idea that there needs to be something surprising in a work of art, something that captures people's attention, I've certainly seen artwork that does this, and I work with some artists who do things that surprise and delight, and they certainly do have some success. But I also work with a lot of artists who don't rely on the element of surprise to make sales. Landscape painters, abstract artists who are just creating the very best work that they can, and collectors respond to that and buy that artwork. My advice is to pursue what you're excited about. If you are interested in a subject and a style and you're pursuing it, you're going to find collectors out there who, like you, are going to be interested in that. And more importantly, I think that if you're chasing after the next trend or what might make something sell, you're maybe missing the bigger picture, which is that if you're excited about your subject matter, you're excited about pursuing it, you're going to be far more likely to produce a great work of art. You're going to be more creative, more engaged, and your collectors are going to respond to that. So my advice to you would be that pursue what excites you and then find the pathways to get to the collectors who will also be excited. I've heard many other rules. I remember there was an art gallery owner here in Scottsdale who once said or told the artist that he represented that if you're going to go out and paint a landscape painting, you should never stray more than a few feet from where you park the car. That collectors don't want artwork where you traipsed off into the wilderness and were days from civilization, and it was a remote area. They want something that's familiar and recognizable. And again, I just have to wonder, okay, was that advice based on pieces of artwork put out in front of the public and scientifically collected and the data processed and analyzed, or is this just a feeling that developed? Having said all of that, certainly as you're beginning to expand your career and you're getting more sales and experience, it is likely that you're going to find your collectors responding to particular kinds of work that you're creating, particular subjects, or even the scale of the work or a particular format that you're working in. And we don't want to ignore that. If you do find that there's something that you've done that resonates and then is replicable, where you're going to have more and more buyers respond to that, that ultimately can lead you to a kind of partnership between you and your collectors where you're creating work that resonates with a broader audience. And certainly it's worth paying attention to that. But even then, we want to make sure that you're staying true to your artistic vision, that you're retaining some latitude to experiment and try new things, and you're keeping your work fresh. And it's often the case that what was popular for your work and your collectors last year may not be as popular this year and may move on to the next year. So we always want to keep things moving and keep working towards finding the work that resonates with you and with your collectors. So Nina, I hope that's helpful. And for those of you who are watching, if you have additional questions about what work to make a successful piece of artwork in terms of sales, or other questions about the art business and art sales and how galleries work, be sure and leave a comment below and I'll try and get to your question in future sessions. And if you haven't subscribed to Red Dot Blog, be sure and do that so you can be informed about future sessions. Thanks for joining me.